Hi everyone, welcome to Flexibility. Today's class will be a little bit different from the previous weeks. We're going to be working standing up, and we're also going to be using a wall. So just make sure you're close to a very flat surface and that you'd be able to put your hands about above the head, shoulder height area without hitting anything. Okay, let's get started. All right, big inhale, reach the arms to the side. Exhale, press apart. Notice the rise and fall of the rib cage and the shoulders. And as if your hands were large arms on a clock. Keep the hands reaching away to each digit on the clock. And last one. Right hand goes up and over the head, bigger wide stance. Drop the weight of the head, reach the opposite arm through. Tip the tail. Flat back stretch, navel to spine. Relax the tension from the shoulder and neck. Repeat, side fold. Arms reaching in opposition, shoulders stacked on hips. And tip change, tail to the ceiling, navel to spine, extending at the hips. And last set, over and stay. Drop the weight of the head, release the jaw. And flat back. Really tipping from the tail as if there could be a tray on the back of the hips. Balancing a steady set of glasses. And coming all the way up with both hands to transition right away to the other side. Really release the tension from the bottom shoulder and head. And flat back. Tip the tail, navel to spine. Head is lengthening with the outer arm. Repeat. Starting to open the side of the ribs. Tip from the tail. Tray of drinks on the hips. Last one. Working in a way that feels good. Trying not to create too much tension. There's no specific end position you should be in that may have to look identical to my body. Coming all the way up, you do you. Turning out the feet, just start to warm up the knees. Two more, really feel firm in the feet. Good, interlace the fingers, tip toes forward. And we go side, front, side, up, reverse direction, side. Front, side, up. My upper body is moving as if I was looking over a very tall fence. So I'm only trying to move above the abdomen. 4, last one, release the shoulders. 3, 4, now we're gonna go in full circle so you can start to add a little lift to the ceiling. And we'll go 4 in one direction. Long elbows. And last one this way. Reverse directions. If you're a person that gets dizzy, flutter your eyes ever so slightly or slow down your speed. 2 more, really warming up those ribs. And last one. Good. Arms of the clock reaching out towards the digits. And roll those shoulders. Good. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more alert. A little taller. A little more open. Okay, we'll get into a few of our static stretches now. First one, palm of the hand with the thumb up towards 45 degrees from the shoulder. So here's a 90-degree angle. We're gonna move up to 45 degrees, getting close to the wall, and then feel like all of your ribs are going to look away from that shoulder joint. So you can kind of pick yourself up and pull yourself to open if that feels good. And you can also press towards the wall. You can extend through your fingers. If this feels a little clicky in the top of the shoulder, just move it down a little bit or open back up and try again. So you don't want to feel too much tension in the top half of the arm. We're just trying to open the pectoral. Lengthen out the back of the skull. Excellent, and a reverse stretch. Thumb is still towards the ceiling. I'm using the opposite arm to really pull the arm in tight, and then I'm sliding the shoulder blade down along the ribs. Pull the arm back and towards you as you press wrist to wrist or forearm to forearm. We'll do that a few times. Really pull in and press. 2 more times. You can lengthen away, pull the shoulder blade off the back, and then back on. And last one. Any little micro adjustments is always great. You feel out what you need in the moment. I like just ever so slightly moving pretty much all the time. Good, big hand above the head and just let that shoulder go. Nice and open through the front. Little rub can feel nice. And we'll do the other side. So same thing, identify 90 degrees and then go up to about halfway between top and side, 45. Thumb to the ceiling. Using the ribs to wrap, or your hand on the ribs to wrap your body away from the back arm. Then you can lean into the wall. Watch that there's no tension on the other side. See what happens if you lean away from the wall. Any little changes are always welcome. Feel like your body is still spiraling as we stay. Opposite stretch, thumb towards the ceiling, forearms connected, feel the shoulder blade against the back. Keep reaching out the hand actively. And a little slide as if somebody was pulling your fingers for you in a nice gentle way, and then you retract. Slide away, and retract. Maybe this side is more tense, less tense, more able to move, a little stiffer. Tall through the hips and spine. Feel free to give it one more. Keeping that tension against forearms. Excellent, and release. Give it a rub. And we'll just spiral the fingers, flex the heels of the hands, and go out and open. Start from the bottom, in, and out. Out and open, in and out. 2 more. These exercises like this are quite difficult for me. I find my forearms have a little less mobility than some of my larger joints like my hips and even my shoulders. And last one. Keep that flex. Flex, flex, flex. Reach out all the fingertips. Just start to bend at the elbow and press from the hand. Keep the thumb really wide. And then flip to the other direction. Thumb out, fingertips down, bend at the elbow, pull back the fingers, and you can even use your thumb here to help press out. And we'll do the other side. Flex first, pull back, soft elbow, try not to jar or lock at the elbow joint or shoulder. Thumb out so you see that little curl, lengthen there. My hand is just ever so slightly lower than my shoulder. That seems like a nice place for me. You might be right at your shoulder. I wouldn't suggest higher, although it just kind of changes where the stretch goes. Same thing, I can use the back of my thumb, the thumb on the back of my palm, keeping that thumb of the hand that we're stretching nice and elongated. And then just depending on where you press or put a little extra tension in your fingers, that might change where you feel the stretch. So you could go up the palm. I like down the fingers a bit better. Always checking in with that thumb. Good, and give it a shake. We'll move down to our feet and legs. So this is just a pretty gentle start. Again, I'm against the wall for balance and support. My front knee is tracking over my toes without going past them. And my back foot is almost parallel. It's definitely not turned out, but not to the point where my heel is at the center of the foot. My heel is just ever so slightly on the inside of my big toe. And then I'm just going to kind of wiggle or rock the back leg. You can see just ever so slightly a bit of motion as if it was like a loose screw. So it's not much motion, just getting the connective tissue moving. I'm pressing into the outside of the heel and then over towards the big toe mound. Outside of the heel, push, 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 and then big toe mound push. Little teensy bit of rotation of the whole leg. And then you can move to totally parallel or stay as is, and you're just going to start to press forward and back into the calf stretch. When you push forward, see if you can initiate from your pelvis. 2 hip bones are right beside each other. Watch that you're not spiraling towards the camera. Helps increase the stretch through the calf for me when I keep my hips nice and square. And then the initiation from the bottom of the pelvis is what helps pull the stretch from the calf into the front of the hip flexor. 2 more times, really square off and tuck under from the bottom of the pelvis. The pubic bone is aiming up and curling around towards the belly button in a circular motion, under and up. Good, we'll take this a little deeper. So the back heel is going to push back, and then we lean forward, knee now goes over toe, depending on how close your lunge is here. It's getting a little bit of motion into our stretching. You can take a bigger step forward with this front heel if you need. Again, I'm using the wall for balance. You can start to increase the stretch through the whole body by adding an outside arm. We'll go for 2 more. And last one, we'll stay. Stretch through that back heel and knee. You can reach the second hand off, shoulders down the back, heart open and up to the ceiling. Good, tend the fingertips, both hands are just one hand down on the floor, and stretch into a big scissor split, rotating the front hip so that the hip bones are right beside each other at the back. Keep reaching out that back heel. And we're going to step forward onto this leg staying straight. Drop the hips down, standing on one leg only. Bend your knees, soften your body, and come up. A good exhale. And we'll do the other side as similarly as possible. Okay. So again, using the wall for a little bit of support, twisting the hips to face the new direction, the new front, and we just start in our small lunge, rotating our back leg and foot. You can see I'm pressing into the heel and then the big toe mound. Push into the heel, big toe mound. A couple more, waking up all the connective tissue, the back of the calf, hopefully helping the feet relax a bit. I use my feet a lot, so we need to do stretches that help lengthen the back of the connective tissue so that the feet can actually rest. If you're gripping to walk around on the ice, anything like that, we want to give our feet a little bit of a break. Let's go 2 more. And then from here you can keep the, I'm a little bit more parallel actually on this side in comparison to when we set up last time. So you can keep that angle in the foot or not. And then just start to go forward and back. Yeah, I like parallel on this side. Not perfectly identical side to side, that's for sure. Start to really lead from the bottom of the tail, rotating to get the stretch into the front of the hip flexor. If you haven't felt a change between the stretch being at the back of the leg and the front of the thigh, you have to keep pulling the bottom of the pelvis, the pubic bone, up, like we talked about on the other side. So depending on how tight your muscles are, sometimes I find this happens instantly, and other times I have to work at getting the stretch. So I have to make sure I'm totally square and I'm not using another body part's flexibility to kind of change the range of motion, then I don't actually benefit from the stretch. So yeah, notice I'm maybe going a little bit slower on this side, so I really want to find the stretch for myself too. Good, and we'll take that lunge a little bit bigger. Going forward and back, forward. Press the heel down to go back as opposed to moving the thighs too much. So my heel reaches away, lengthening the back of my leg. Reach away. Oh, there we go. And we'll go 2 more without the arm. And then we'll start to add the arm. Sending the front knee right over those toes. Making sure that it's at the center of the foot. The middle of the kneecap is at the 2nd and 3rd toe. Last one, let's hold it up. You can add the head and the opposite arm. Opening the chest. Keep pulling the tailbone and the pubic bone forward and up. And tipping down. Tented fingertips is always helpful here. Making sure that the back hip is really rolling forward. Relax the head, stretch through both knees. Noticing any little adjustments or releases that come with a moment or 2 in each stretch. And step onto the straight front leg. The back leg is not touching, but it's not really working. You can just let it be. The idea is that we're sitting down on the straight leg. And standing up. Use the wall if you need to. Awesome. Give your legs a little shake, maybe a little rub, since we gave our arms a nice rub. And we'll finish with the neck. A nice spot to give a little attention to is the low back. So I'm just gently creating some friction and heat from my sides of the thumbs. And just giving a little release to my lower back. All right. Exhale, shoulders melt down. Palms reach towards the front view. Head tips without moving up in the shoulders or twisting in the ribs. So really just isolate the neck. A very gentle addition from the hands. I'm not using too much pressure here. Reach this hand back and behind you as if somebody was calling for you. And then we've done this one before, but seated. This is twisting open and close. A jar of jam, pickles. Open and close the jar. And just make sure as you're doing this action, your fingers are staying as far away from the head and the rest of the body as possible. So my fingertips are acting like they're screwing down towards the earth. And you can change the orientation of your head. So now I'm looking down towards my hip, but I haven't stopped my open and close of the jar. Good. Palm facing the front. Just open that arm. Notice if you're doing the stretch from your ribs, or if you're really tall and upright and just isolating the neck. Fingertips can soften, hand can soften. Ooh. Be very gentle as you release this stretch. Keep your head down. And when you're ready, lift back up using your whole upper torso. So again, whenever I do the stretch, I mentioned how heavy the head is and how much tension we have there. So when we finish the stretch, we have to make sure that we're really taking care of our body. Take that hand back, reaching for the jar as it gets closer and closer to the floor. Notice the distance between your ear and shoulder on the inclined side. My hand is ever so slightly behind me, not directly beside me. And when you're ready, looking down. Any micro adjustments, any extra releases. Maybe your weight transfers more into the balls of your feet. open that hand. Shoulders are even and beside each other. Watch that you haven't tipped. And release, taking all the time you need. Picking that head up. Looking side to side just to see what that feels like. Woo. Up and down, see what that feels like. Again, how much can you isolate just the vertebrae in the neck versus including the shoulders? So we're trying to remove any roundedness here. Good. A wiggle, incline. Have a nice day.